I was finally getting my happy ending. After years of heartache, I found Jessica, the woman who helped me put my life back together. Wedding plans were in full swing until my parents dropped a bombshell during Sunday dinner. They wanted me to invite Adam, my own brother, who stole Stephanie, my ex-wife, and Noah, my son, 5 years ago. The betrayal that nearly destroyed me. Now my family expected us all to celebrate together like one big happy family. I felt sick to my stomach, torn between family obligation and self-respect. Before I continue with the most painful betrayal of my life, let me know where you are watching from. Hit that like and subscribe button if you have ever had to choose between family loyalty and your own sanity. I met Stephanie during my junior year at Northwestern University. It was at a Halloween party hosted by my roommate Brad. I went dressed as a zombie basketball player, fake blood dripping down my jersey. I was grabbing a soda from the kitchen when someone tapped my shoulder. When I turned around, I saw a beautiful woman dressed as Wonder Woman, her dark hair cascading over her shoulders. "Your zombie makeup is incredible," she said with a warm smile. "Did you do it yourself?" That simple question sparked a conversation that lasted hours. We discovered we were both business majors, with a shared love for old movies and hiking. By the end of the night, I had her number and a promise for coffee the next day. Our first date turned into our second, then our third. Within 3 months, we were officially a couple. Stephanie was everything I had ever wanted: smart, funny, passionate about her goals, and unbelievably kind. We would study together in the library, fingers intertwined under the table as we highlighted textbooks. Weekends were spent exploring Chicago, finding hidden restaurants, or simply watching movies in my cramped apartment. After graduation, we both landed jobs in the city. I joined a marketing firm, while Stephanie worked at a financial advisory company. 2 years into our relationship, during a weekend trip to Lake Michigan, I proposed at sunset. Her eyes filled with tears as she said yes, the diamond ring sparkling as I slid it onto her finger. Our wedding was small, but perfect. Just 60 guests at a restored barn outside the city. Adam, my brother, was my best man. He gave a heartfelt speech about finding someone who completes you. The irony of those words would haunt me years later. Stephanie and I moved into a modest 2-bedroom home in the suburbs. We painted the walls ourselves, argued about furniture, and made love on the floor before our bed was delivered. Life felt complete. But it got even better when Stephanie told me she was pregnant a year later. I still remember the moment she told me. We were having breakfast on a Saturday morning. She slid a small box across the table. Inside was a tiny pair of baby shoes. "We might need these in about 8 months, she whispered. I cried. I am not ashamed to admit it. I cried like a baby at the thought of becoming a father. When Noah was born, I held his tiny body against my chest and promised to be the best father possible. He had Stephanie's eyes and my chin. Adam was one of the first visitors at the hospital, bringing an enormous teddy bear and taking dozens of pictures. "You are one lucky guy, little brother," Adam said, clapping me on the shoulder. "Beautiful wife, healthy son. You are living the dream," and I was. For the first 3 years, everything was perfect. Noah grew into an energetic toddler who loved dinosaurs and building blocks. Stephanie and I worked as a team, taking turns with midnight feedings and diaper changes. On weekends, we would take Noah to the park, pushing him on swings and catching him at the bottom of slides. Adam would join us sometimes, always bringing gifts for Noah and complimenting Stephanie on what a great mother she had become. Adam had always been the more successful brother. He ran his own real estate business, drove a luxury car, and lived in a downtown penthouse. Unlike me, he cycled through relationships, never settling down. Our parents often held him up as an example of ambition and success, though they were proud of me too. The first cracks in my marriage appeared gradually. Having a child changed our dynamics. The spontaneous dates became harder to arrange. Stephanie quit her job to stay home with Noah, which strained our finances. I took on additional projects at work, often staying late to meet deadlines. The promotion I received meant more money, but also more hours away from home. Stephanie began to change. The woman who used to greet me with a kiss now barely looked up from her phone when I came home. She seemed constantly irritated, snapping at small things. When I asked what was wrong, she would say she was just tired from chasing Noah all day. You get to leave the house, talk to adults, have lunch, in peace, she complained once. I am stuck in the same routine every single day. I suggested she join a mommy and me class or reconnect with her college friends. She dismissed the idea, saying she did not have the energy. But somehow, she found energy to text constantly. I noticed the phone would quickly flip over when I entered a room. During this time, Adam started coming around more often. He would drop by with lunch for Stephanie or offer to babysit Noah so she could have a break. I was grateful. My brother was helping my family when I could not be there. Or so I thought. Adam took Noah to the zoo yesterday. Stephanie mentioned casually one evening. He bought him that stuffed penguin he has not put down since. Another time, Adam fixed that leaky faucet in the bathroom. I told him we would call a plumber, but he insisted. I thanked Adam repeatedly for helping out. He always brushed it off. That is what family is for, little brother. Besides, I love spending time with the little guy. And Stephanie is great company. Looking back, I should have seen the signs. But I trusted my brother completely. I trusted my wife. The thought that they would betray me never crossed my mind. The changes in Stephanie became more pronounced. She started dressing differently, wearing makeup even for quick trips to the grocery store. She joined a gym and became obsessed with fitness. When I complimented her new appearance, she barely acknowledged it. I am not doing it for you, she said once, then quickly added, I just need to feel good about myself again. Her phone became her closest companion. Password protected, always within reach. Once, when it chimed and I reached for it to pass it to her, she practically lunged across the room to grab it first. Noah, now 4, started mentioning Adam more frequently. Uncle Adam brings ice cream when you are not home, he said innocently one day, but Mommy says it is our secret. I laughed it off. Brothers bringing treats for their nephews seemed normal. The secrets less so, but I assumed they were just trying to avoid me complaining about sugar before dinner. My friend Frank tried to warn me. We were having beers at a local bar when he cleared his throat awkwardly. I saw Stephanie at Woodfield Mall yesterday, he said, picking at the label on his bottle. Yeah, she mentioned she was going shopping, I replied. Frank hesitated. She was with Adam. They were holding hands, Marcel. When they thought nobody was looking, I laughed. Frank, that is ridiculous. Adam is helping with Noah while I am working. They are probably just friends now. They were not with Noah, Frank said quietly. And friends do not look at each other the way they were looking at each other. I dismissed his concerns, accusing him of misinterpreting an innocent situation. Frank backed off, but the seed of doubt was planted. Yet I pushed it down. Adam was my brother. Stephanie was my wife. They would never hurt me like that. My 32nd birthday fell on a Tuesday. I had an important presentation that morning, but planned to leave work early to celebrate with my family. Stephanie had mentioned making my favorite dinner. I stopped to buy flowers for her and a bottle of wine. I wanted to reconnect, to rekindle what we once had. I pulled into our driveway at 3:30 in the afternoon, excited to surprise her with my early arrival. Noah would still be at preschool for another hour, giving us some rare alone time. The house was quiet when I entered. I called out for Stephanie, but received no response. Then I heard it. Laughter from upstairs. Her laughter followed by a deeper voice. Male. My heart pounded. As I climbed the stairs, flowers still clutched in my hand. Our bedroom door was partially open. Through the crack, I saw them. Stephanie and Adam, my wife and my brother, tangled in our bed. My bed. Time seemed to stop. The flowers fell from my hand as I pushed the door open, their faces when they saw me. Shock. Guilt. But not enough guilt. Marcel. Stephanie scrambled to cover herself. You are supposed to be at work. Adam just stared, making no move to hide what they had done. How could you? My voice was barely a whisper. My own brother. What followed was chaos. Shouting. Accusations. Tears. Noah came home in the middle of it, brought back by the preschool carpool. He stood in the doorway clutching his backpack, face crumpled in confusion and fear. "Why is everyone yelling?" he asked, beginning to cry. Stephanie grabbed him, glaring at me, as if I was the one who had done something wrong. Adam started getting dressed casual, as if he was leaving a business meeting, rather than destroying my life. "We need to talk about this rationally," he said, his voice maddeningly calm. "Rationally? You slept with my wife, in my home." Stephanie finally admitted the affair had been going on for 8 months. 8 months of lies. Of betrayal. While I worked extra hours to provide for my family, they were building their own relationship behind my back. That night I left. I could not bear to stay in that house. I called my parents from a hotel room, my voice breaking, as I told them what their older son had done. Their response stunned me almost as much as the affair itself. "Marcel, this is terrible, but we need to handle this privately," my mother said. "Family matters should stay within the family." "Family matters, Mom. Adam slept with my wife." "I understand you are upset," my father added, "but making a public spectacle will only hurt Noah." I could not believe what I was hearing. Where was the outrage? The support? The acknowledgement that what Adam did was unforgivable. They arranged a family meeting at their house 2 days later. Adam and Stephanie arrived together like a couple. I sat across from them, a chasm of betrayal between us. Adam spoke first. "Marcel, I never meant for this to happen, but Stephanie and we fell in love. You cannot control who you fall in love with. You could control whether you act on it." I snapped. "You could control whether you betray your own brother." "We tried to fight it," Stephanie added, "but it just felt right. Noah adores Adam. We want to do what is best for everyone." What was best for everyone? What about what was best for me? My parents mediated as if this was a simple disagreement over borrowed money rather than the complete destruction of my life. "We are still a family," my mother insisted. "We need to find a way forward that works for everyone." "Adam is your brother," my father said. "Blood is thicker than water." I looked at them in disbelief. "So I am just supposed to accept this, pretend everything is fine?" The unspoken answer hung in the air. Yes. That is exactly what they wanted me to do. The divorce was brutal. Stephanie hired a top divorce attorney paid for by Adam, of course. They portrayed me as a workaholic absent father who neglected his family. The fact that I was working extra hours to support that same family was conveniently overlooked. I fought for joint custody of Noah. I had been a good father, present when I was home, loving involved. But Stephanie argued that moving between 2 homes would be disruptive for Noah. That stability was with her, in the house he had always known. With Adam, who had more financial resources to provide for him, the judge awarded Stephanie primary custody. I got every other weekend and Wednesday evenings. Child support payments that strained my finances even further, especially after I had to move into a small 1-bedroom apartment. I lost everything. My wife, my son, my home, half my retirement savings, and my brother. Adam and Stephanie married 3 months after our divorce was finalized. They moved into a larger house in a better neighborhood. Noah got a new room with a custom dinosaur mural on the wall. Material things I could never provide. The first time Noah called Adam new daddy, I thought my heart would shatter completely. He was confused, trying to understand the new dynamics. I could not blame my son. But it hurt more than I could express. The next year was the darkest of my life. I lost focus at work. My performance suffered. I was passed over for promotions. I started drinking too much on the nights Noah was not with me. Friends invited me out, less and less tired of my bitterness and depression. One night, after dropping Noah off and seeing him run to Adam with excited stories about our day together, something in me broke. I drove to the Franklin Bridge and stood at the edge looking down at the dark water below. What was left for me? My family was gone. My career was faltering. The future stretched out empty and meaningless. As I stood there, an elderly man walking his dog stopped beside me. Thomas was his name. He did not ask what I was doing or why I looked so broken. He simply started talking about his dog, a scrappy terrier named Scout. How Scout had been a shelter dog, unwanted and afraid. How they had saved each other after Thomas lost his wife of 47 years to cancer. Sometimes the universe takes away everything to make room for what you actually need, he said quietly. It hurts like hell in the process, though. We talked for hours, this stranger and I, about loss, about betrayal, about finding reasons to keep going. He gave me his phone number before he left, made me promise to call if the darkness ever felt too overwhelming again. Thomas suggested I join a support group for divorced people. I resisted at first. The thought of sharing my humiliation with strangers seemed unbearable, but eventually desperation won out. The group met in a church basement on Thursday nights. 12 people sitting in a circle sharing stories of failed marriages, custody battles, and the struggle to rebuild. That is where I met Jessica. Jessica sat directly across from me. Brown hair, cut in a stylish bob, intelligent green eyes, a smile that appeared genuine despite the setting. She spoke about her ex-husband, leaving her for her cousin, about the betrayal that blindsided her after 8 years of marriage. After the meeting, several of us went for coffee. Jessica and I found ourselves sitting at the same table, comparing notes on our experiences. There was something refreshing about her lack of bitterness. She had processed her anger and moved forward. It took me 2 years of therapy, she admitted, and a lot of ice cream and sad movies. But eventually I realized that letting his betrayal define my life was giving him too much power. We exchanged numbers, as friends at first. Fellow survivors of relationship battlefields, we would text each other encouragement on difficult days, meet for hikes where we could vent freely, share articles and books about healing. Jessica was a paralegal at a family law firm. When I mentioned my struggles with custody arrangements, she connected me with a lawyer who specialized in father rights. With their help, I renegotiated my parenting time, securing more meaningful involvement in Noah's life. Slowly, I rebuilt. I found a new job with a smaller company that valued work-life balance. I started therapy. I reconnected with old friends and made new ones. I learned to be present with Noah during our time together, rather than dwelling on the moments I missed. And somewhere along the way, friendship with Jessica evolved into something deeper. Our first kiss happened after helping her move into a new apartment. Sweaty, exhausted, surrounded by boxes, we ordered pizza and collapsed on her couch. As I was leaving that night, she rose on tiptoes and pressed her lips to mine. Soft, tentative, healing. I have wanted to do that for months, she confessed, a blush spreading across her cheeks. Why did you wait? I asked. Because you needed a friend more than a girlfriend. I wanted to be sure you were ready. She was right. The timing was perfect. We had built a foundation of trust and understanding before adding romance. After 6 months of dating, Jessica moved into my new 2-bedroom townhouse. Noah got his own room for his weekends with us. He and Jessica bonded over baking cookies and building elaborate Lego structures. 2 years after meeting Jessica, I knew she was the one I wanted to spend my life with. I proposed during a weekend trip to the same lake where I had proposed to Stephanie, reclaiming that spot, creating new memories to replace the painful ones. Jessica cried happy tears as she said yes. We called our friends, celebrating with champagne and dreams of the future. Then came the call to my parents. They were genuinely happy for me expressing excitement about the wedding, until my mother asked the question that would ignite a new family crisis. Will Adam be invited to the wedding? He is still your brother, Marcel. The question hung in the air. My happiness evaporated instantly. You cannot be serious, I finally managed to say. Marcel, it has been 5 years, my father interjected. Family is family. Will Stephanie be invited too? I asked, voice dripping with sarcasm. Maybe Noah can be the ring bearer while Adam gives me marriage advice. Do not be dramatic, my mother sighed. We just want the family together for your special day. Jessica, hearing only my side of the conversation, looked concerned. After I hung up, I told her what my parents had suggested. Her face flushed with anger on my behalf. Absolutely not. she said firmly. That man betrayed you in the worst possible way. He has no place at our wedding. My parents did not drop the issue. They called repeatedly, sent emails, even enlisted extended family members to reach out. The message was consistent: forgive and forget, move on, reunite the family. Noah should see his father happy. My Aunt Susan insisted during one call. He should see that adults can overcome differences. What message does that send to Noah? I countered. That betrayal has no consequences. That you can hurt people deeply and still expect to be welcomed with open arms. The situation came to a head during a Sunday dinner at my parents' house. Jessica and I had gone hoping to discuss wedding details. Instead, we walked into an ambush. Adam was there sitting casually at the dining table, as if his presence was the most natural thing in the world. What is he doing here? I demanded Jessica, squeezing my hand in support. We thought it was time you two talked, my mother said. Cleared the air before the wedding. Adam stood, extending his hand as if we were business associates. Marcel, it is good to see you. I ignored his hand. 5 years of silence. And now you want to clear the air. Because Mom and Dad arranged it. I know you are still angry. Adam began. Angry does not begin to cover it. I interrupted. You destroyed my marriage. You took my son. You betrayed me in the most personal way possible, and now you want what forgiveness a wedding invitation. We are brothers, Adam said, as if that explained everything. No, I said quietly. We share DNA. That is it. A brother would never do what you did. My parents watched this exchange with disappointed expressions. My father tried next. Marcel, your mother and I have supported you through everything. We helped with your legal fees during the divorce. We were there when you were at your lowest. All we ask is that you try to make peace with your brother. That was when something inside me snapped. Years of suppressed rage and hurt came pouring out, supported me. You never took my side. Not once. From the moment I told you what Adam and Stephanie did, you were more concerned about keeping up appearances than about justice or loyalty. I turned to face my parents fully, Jessica standing strong beside me. You have always favored Adam. His achievements were celebrated while mine were acknowledged. His business ventures received your investment while I worked my way through college. When he betrayed me, you made excuses for him. My mother's eyes filled with tears. That is not true. We love you both equally. Your actions say otherwise. Jessica interjected softly. Marcel deserved your full support during the worst betrayal of his life. This is between family, my father said stiffly. I am going to be his family, Jessica, replied, chin raised, and I will always take his side. The confrontation ended with an ultimatum from my father. If Adam is not welcome at your wedding, then perhaps we should not attend either. I looked at them, these people who had raised me, but failed to protect me when it mattered most. If that is your choice, I will respect it. But I will not invite the man who stole my wife and son to celebrate my new marriage. That is a boundary I will not cross. We left both shaking with emotion. In the car, Jessica took my hands. I am so proud of you, she whispered. Standing up for yourself like that could not have been easy. Later that evening, Adam called. His tone was conciliatory, reasonable, which somehow made it worse. I understand you are upset, he began. But Stephanie and I want to move past this hostility, for Noah's sake. Noah's sake, I laughed bitterly. The same excuse you used to take him from me. Nobody took him from you, Adam said. You have visitation. Visitation. To see my own son, while you play dad in my place. Marcel, what happened between me and Stephanie, it was not planned. Sometimes life takes unexpected turns. Save it, I said. I am not interested in your justifications. Then what do you want? Adam asked, frustration evident. To punish us forever. I want nothing from you, I replied honestly, except to be left alone to build my new life. A life that does not include you. After that conversation, Jessica and I made a decision. We would plan our wedding without my parents' input or financial contribution. It would be smaller than originally planned, but filled with people who genuinely supported us. I was not willing to simply accept the situation, however. I had been passive 5 years ago, too broken to fight effectively. Not anymore. I reached out to mutual friends and former colleagues of Adam's. People spoke surprisingly freely once I explained what I was trying to understand. A pattern emerged. Adam had a history of pursuing unavailable women. 2 former friends confirmed he had made advances toward their girlfriends. A business partner revealed Adam had dated his recently divorced sister, while still ostensibly supporting the man through his own divorce. Most significantly, I connected with Adam's former assistant, Rachel. Over coffee, she hesitantly shared something that confirmed my worst suspicions. Adam talked about you and Stephanie, often long before, well before anything happened, Rachel explained. He would comment on how lucky you were, how Stephanie was too good for you. He volunteered to help her when you were working late. It seemed calculated looking back. Armed with this knowledge, I arranged to speak with Noah during one of our weekends together. Now 9, he was old enough for certain conversations, though I was careful not to disparage his mother or Adam. "You know I love you more than anything, right, buddy?" I asked, as we fished at a local pond. Noah nodded, focused on his fishing line. "I know, Dad. And even though I do not live with you and Mom anymore, I have always been your dad and always will be." He looked at me curiously. "Adam says he is my dad too now." I took a deep breath. "Adam is your stepdad. That is different from being your dad. He came into your life later, after you were born." "Did you and Mom stop loving each other?" Noah asked suddenly. I chose my words carefully. Sometimes adults' relationships change in ways that are complicated, but nothing changed about how much we both love you. Noah seemed to consider this. "Sometimes I get confused about what to call Adam," he admitted. "Mom wants me to call him Dad Adam, but it feels weird." "You can call him whatever feels right to you," I assured him. "No one should force you to use a name you are not comfortable with." It was a small victory, but an important one. Noah deserved to understand his own story, even a simplified version. The final confrontation with Adam happened unexpectedly. I ran into him at Noah's school science fair. We stood awkwardly on opposite sides of Noah's display about the solar system. "Nice project," I commented to Noah, purposely ignoring Adam. "Dad and I worked on it all weekend." Noah replied proudly, then looking confused, clarified. "I mean, Adam and I did." I saw something flash across Adam's face. Annoyance, disappointment. After Noah went to look at his friends' projects, Adam approached me. Still trying to turn him against me, he asked quietly. "I have never said a negative word about you to Noah," I replied truthfully. "Unlike you, I respect his relationships with all the adults in his life." Adam scoffed. "Right. Saint Marcel the victim." "I am not a victim anymore," I said. "I am a man rebuilding his life despite what you did." "What I did?" Adam echoed. "What about what you did? Working all the time, neglecting Stephanie's needs, creating the opportunity for us to connect." His audacity was breathtaking. "So it is my fault you slept with my wife." That is some twisted logic. I gave Noah stability. A full-time father. Financial security. You gave yourself what you wanted. I corrected him. Using my family to do it. You could have found your own wife, had your own children. But you wanted mine. Adam leaned closer. "And what are you going to do about it now?" "Nothing. Because there is nothing you can do." I smiled, which clearly unsettled him. "I am going to live well. Marry Jessica. Be the best father I can be to Noah during the time I have with him. And I am going to do it all without giving you the power to hurt me again." Adam sneered. "My invitation to your wedding got lost in the mail." "There was never an invitation," I said calmly. "And there never will be." The weeks leading up to the wedding were tense. My parents made one final attempt to change my mind, threatening again to skip the ceremony if Adam was not included. I did not back down. Instead, I wrote an email to my entire extended family, explaining in clear, unemotional terms exactly what had happened 5 years ago. I included the pattern of behavior I had uncovered Adam's history of targeting relationships and his efforts to replace me in Noah's life. I did not exaggerate or embellish. The facts spoke for themselves. The response was illuminating. Cousins, aunts, and uncles, who had been fed a sanitized version of events, expressed shock and sympathy. My grandmother called her voice shaking with anger at how I had been treated. Even my Uncle Robert, who had always been close to Adam, reached out to apologize for not understanding the full situation. The family pressure shifted. Suddenly it was Adam and my parents facing questions about their behavior, not me defending my boundaries. 3 days before the wedding, my mother called in tears. "We made a terrible mistake," she admitted. "We should have supported you unconditionally. We justified Adam's actions because accepting the truth was too painful that our son could betray his own brother so completely." My father got on the phone too. "We would like to come to your wedding, son. Just us. We understand why Adam cannot be there." It was the acknowledgement I had been waiting for 5 years to hear. Not quite an apology, but a recognition that I had been wronged, and my feelings were valid. "I want you there," I said honestly. "But I need to know, this change of heart is genuine. It is my mother promised. We almost lost you once when everything happened with Stephanie. We cannot bear to lose you again." We negotiated a compromise regarding Noah. He would attend the wedding brought by my friend Frank, rather than by Stephanie or Adam. He would be my ring bearer, a symbol of continuity between my past and future. The wedding day arrived, sunshine breaking through after a week of rain. We held the ceremony in a small botanical garden, surrounded by 60 of our closest friends and chosen family. My parents sat in the front row, subdued but present. Thomas, the man who had saved me on the bridge years before, served as my best man. When Jessica appeared at the end of the aisle, everything else faded away. She wore a simple ivory dress that caught the light as she moved. Her smile was radiant, a beacon, guiding me home after years lost at sea. Noah performed his ring-bearer duties perfectly, his chest puffed with importance. When he handed over the rings, he whispered, "I am happy you found Jessica, Dad. She makes the best chocolate chip cookies." Out of the mouths of babes, as they say. The reception was joyful, filled with laughter and dancing. Jessica and I took a moment alone watching our guests celebrate. "We did it," she murmured, leaning against me. Despite everything I agreed. Because of everything she corrected. "What you went through shaped you into the man I fell in love with, stronger, more compassionate, determined to do better." In the years that followed, Jessica and I built the life we had envisioned. We bought a house with a yard for Noah to play in during his visits. Jessica became pregnant with our daughter Lily, giving Noah a sister he adored from the moment he met her. My relationship with my parents improved gradually. They made consistent efforts to spend time with us and respect our boundaries. Adam remained a non-topic during family gatherings. I saw him only during Noah's events, where we maintained civil distance. As for Stephanie, she reached out after Lily was born, offering congratulations and tentatively suggesting a more cooperative co-parenting relationship. It was a small olive branch I accepted for Noah's sake. The healing did not happen overnight. There were still moments of anger, of grief for what was lost. But those moments grew fewer and farther between. I learned that forgiveness did not mean forgetting or excusing. It meant releasing the power the betrayal had over me, not for Adam's benefit, but for my own. The most important lesson I learned through this journey was about defining my own worth. For too long, I had allowed other people's treatment of me to determine my value. Adam's betrayal, my parents' favoritism, even Stephanie's rejection. I had internalized it all as evidence of my inadequacy. Jessica helped me see the truth. I was worthy of loyalty, of respect, of love, not because of what I could provide or what role I played in someone's life, but simply because of who I was. That realization gave me the strength to set boundaries and hold them even when it meant standing against my own family. Today, as I watch Noah and Lily play together in the backyard, Jessica resting her head on my shoulder, I know I made the right choice. True family is not always defined by blood. It is built through choices, through showing up through love that puts the other person first rather than last. What do you think about my decision to stand my ground with my family? Would you have invited Adam to the wedding or drawn the same hard line I did? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear more about overcoming betrayal and building a life worth living. Thank you for listening, and remember, sometimes the family you choose is more important than the family you were born into.